This is the book of the generations of Adam. When God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. Male and female he created them, and he blessed them and named them man when they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he fathered a son in his own likeness, after his image, and named him Seth. The days of Adam after he fathered Seth were 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. When Seth had lived 105 years, he fathered Enosh. Seth lived after he fathered Enosh 807 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he fathered Kenan. Enosh lived after he fathered Kenan 815 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he fathered Mahalalel. Kenan lived after he fathered Mahalalel 840 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Kenan were 910 years, and he died. When Mahalalel had lived 65 years, he fathered Jared. Mahalalel lived after he fathered Jared 830 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. When Jared had lived 162 years, he fathered Enoch. Jared lived after he fathered Enoch 800 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he fathered Methuselah. Enoch walked with God after he fathered Methuselah 300 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Enoch were 365 years. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he fathered Lamech. Methuselah lived after he fathered Lamech 782 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he fathered a son, and called his name Noah, saying, "Out of the ground that the Lord has cursed, this one shall bring us relief from our work, and from the painful toil of our hands." Lamech lived after he fathered Noah 595 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. After Noah was 500 years old, Noah fathered Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Hello. I just wanted to begin the video by reviewing the Christology from Genesis chapter 4 that I found in the Lutheran Study Bible here. So this is our review for... So here we see the cross, and that tells us, they're going to tell us the Christology. And so chapter 4, Genesis 4 begins with a murder that traces how the shadow of violence lengthens until Lamech perverts God's intention for marriage by taking 2 wives and boasting that he is 77 times more violent than his murderous ancestor Cain. But we also learn of the birth of Seth, through whom God's promise will continue. Promise from verse 3:15. God's plan is not stopped by murder. God appoints another seed of the woman to receive the promise and to carry the story forward. The promise continues to unfold until it comes at last to the cross. There, Satan tries to derail God's plan by killing the seed of the woman. Once again, God prevails, not by appointing another, but by raising Jesus Christ from the dead in declaration that the work is finished, creation is redeemed, and death itself, the chief effect of the fall, is put to death. This is a wonderful prayer that was included with the Lutheran Study Bible's commentary, the Christology of Genesis chapter 5. And this is my prayer for all of us. So, thoughts for Genesis 5. And I've been so negligent in doing this, I'm not going to read the Matthew 10:16, which is in Matthew 4 and John 19. Wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Matthew 4, temptation. John 19, Christ on the cross. Thoughts for Genesis 5. I went to AI and looked up Church Fathers Christology for Genesis 5. And this is my little summary of it. Seth, Enoch, and Noah are men that point to Christ. The genealogy of Jesus Christ in Luke 3 establishes that Christ is the descendant of these men, and he will prove to be the seed of the woman that crushes the head of the serpent. The 3 patriarchs are mortal men who, like us, endure the struggles of a cursed land by faith, not contempt. We don't have contempt for God. We trust our faith, trust in God. They confess that same faith to us from the very beginning of the domain of death. Once the very beginning, when Eve ate of the fruit and Adam ate of the fruit, and it all started. Seth is the root of the Messiah. You'll remember seeing that in the video. Seth is the root of the Messiah. This is a statement from the early church father named Ephraim the Syrian. A summary of his Christological reading of Seth. Ephraim's view can be summarized in 4 points. Seth is God's appointed replacement for Abel. Seth begins the holy line that stands against Cain's corrupt line. Seth is the root of the messianic genealogy leading to Christ. Seth's line preserves true worship and the promise of Genesis 3:15. In short, Ephraim reads Seth as the divinely preserved seed through whom Christ's line is secured. And then we have Enoch, and there's two for Enoch. Two different church fathers, I think Augustine and yes. So anyway, Enoch is the image of the risen and ascended Christ and the sign of the new life Christ brings. This is a paraphrase of two church fathers combined. The first part is from Origen, the second part is from Augustine. Origen's Christological reading of Enoch. Enoch is a type of Christ, resurrection, and ascension. Enoch reveals the future glorification of believers. Enoch models spiritual ascent and contemplation. Enoch proves Scripture's multi-layered meaning. So, remember, Enoch interrupts the reign of death, foreshadowing Christ's victory. So for this one with the multi-layered meaning, they already have the layers already named. And I remember looking up, I can't flip it really easily right now, but I remember looking that up, and I'll make a note we'll follow up on that next time. But there are different areas of testimony to the multifacetedness of men, like emotional, spiritual, physical. So I need to do some research on that. Enoch interrupts the reign of death, foreshadowing Christ's victory. Origen's Enoch is not a marginal figure. He is a theological key to understanding resurrection, sanctification, and the spiritual life. Summary: this is Augustine's Christological reading of Enoch. Enoch's translation is literal and bodily. Enoch is a sign of resurrection and eternal life. Enoch interrupts the genealogy of death, pointing to Christ's victory. Enoch proves God's ability to preserve and glorify the body. Enoch models holiness and walking with God. Enoch and Elijah together foreshadow the transformation of the saints. So Enoch's translation is literal and bodily, and he's a sign of the resurrection and eternal life. Augustine's Enoch is not a marginal figure. He is a theological witness to resurrection, hope, and the defeat of death. Noah points at the rest we have in salvation. Irenaeus' Noah typology. Noah is a type of Christ, the righteous one, and a type of Christ, the head of the church, a type of Christ who saves through wood and water. I kind of like that one. And a type of Christ who establishes a covenant, a type of Christ who preserves humanity, and a type of Christ who preaches righteousness. For Irenaeus, Noah is not merely a moral example, he is a messianic figure whose entire story is a prophetic outline of Christ's saving work. So there you have it. That's the just skimming the Christological thoughts of some of the early church fathers. I'm thankful to have gotten that done. We'll move on to Genesis chapter 6. I hope everyone has a very nice day.